Around 2002 or 2003, I started doing duathlon with a group of friends. They were experienced and used to camping long weekends in an area called El Cóndor, very close to the town of Rumorosa, to train at that altitude. I always knew what was said about the place. The sounds on the roads, legends of apparitions, the woman who sits on the trailers, the constant UFO sightings that even drew attention from TV people, and stories of Llorona or a white woman who appears. Many things are said, but in the end you convince yourself they are just local myths. Even so, it was always strange to drive around there, and on that occasion, the first time I was going to camp in the area, I felt a discomfort, an uncertainty, as we left the road to take a dirt track just by an abandoned gas station. I lost track of time. I guess we had been in the mountains for a few hours. We had stopped seeing the ranches a long time before. We found a good place to set up the tents. They told me it was common to see deer, coyotes, mountain lions. Rarely, in the distance, a bighorn sheep, and Raul, the most experienced of the group, swore he had seen a puma on one occasion. We unpacked everything and went to sleep early to wake and train the next day. The night was absolutely black, not even the stars could give us any light that moonless night. The coyotes were heard not so far away, and I tried to think of something else and sleep. A little later, half an hour or an hour maybe, I woke up when we heard a sound like a trailer or a truck coming at full speed toward us. We all got alarmed and left the tents to approach the dirt road, waiting to see a truck that would explain that noise. But there was nothing. The coyotes had stopped howling. Only the crickets were heard, what seemed like millions of crickets. The sound began to affect one of my friends, Miguel. It was so intense that he put his hands over his ears and seemed to have a panic attack. We tried to calm him down, thinking it was confusion, and put him in one of the tents. He didn't calm down. The crisis worsened. He became totally frozen and it seemed he stopped listening to us. Raul asked me to help put his Cherokee on the truck and said we'd have to take Miguel to the nearest town for attention. We put him in the back seat and I got in with him. Raul got in the driver's seat and tried to start the truck. Nothing. You couldn't even hear an attempt. No sound came from the starter, the engine, it was completely dead. We tried the other truck and it was the same. Cell phones, not even thinking about it, had no signal. There, in the mountains, we were completely cut off. We took Miguel back into the tent. At that moment the screams stopped. Miguel fell asleep and stopped sweating. The silence was so deep that when a very intense light from outside pierced the fabric of our tents it felt unreal. It lasted only a second. We went out again to see what it was. Maybe to give ourselves courage because we were 5 young people thinking we could face any threat, even in a place full of trees and brush. We could see the source of that light about 150 meters away. We started walking toward it a few meters when another of the guys shouted and made us look to the right. Going up a hill, another identical light had turned on at the same distance. And another light turned on. Suddenly we were in the center of a triangle formed by them. They all turned off at the same time. We were left speechless, not knowing what to say. Then we heard something running nearby, moving through the bushes. I ran to one of the trucks and Everardo ran after me. That was our first reaction. Raul ran toward his truck and the others toward the tents. It was strange. We acted without thinking, seeking protection. The sound of the crickets began again, much more intense, almost piercing our brains. Everardo and I lay on the truck floor trying to hide behind the seats, wherever we could. And everything went out. Everardo woke me at 6 in the morning. When it was just beginning to get light, everyone was outside, even Miguel. The cold was terrible, but they were making coffee. Those who had run into the tents said that when they entered they had heard what seemed like a huge animal walking around the tent, puffing. Raul, who had been alone in the other truck, told us that he had been trying to call us when he saw us hiding. He could see several silhouettes hidden in the darkness, at least 15 figures, surrounding our camp very closely. The three of us had fallen asleep suddenly. Nobody had noticed what the others had seen or heard. That morning some even laughed, trying to lighten what had happened. Someone else joked about mushrooms and peyote. Then we heard Miguel start one of the trucks and we turned to see him. We didn't even think about it. In less than 5 minutes we had packed everything and we accelerated the 2 trucks down the track to get to the road. We never camped in that area again, and we didn't tell anyone what really happened. I can't imagine what it was, but I think what we lived that night still binds us together.